Evercade delayed. New Wave toys Zoltar in high demand. And what's the future of Arcade1up? If they have a future. I mean, they have a future. I mean, the future that they have, I mean, that's what we're going to talk about. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Another episode of This Week, the show where we talk about what happened this week in home arcades, episode 151. Thank you so much for being here. Hell of a couple days here in the States, a lot of stuff going on. So tonight, I'm going to try to help take your mind off of some of that. We're going to leave our politics and religion at the door and just talk about silly stuff that, you know, it just really pertains to us. It's a lot of fun. Sit back, relax, take your mind off some stuff. One of the ways you can do that, the lubricant of good conversation, is, of course, alcohol. Tonight, we're back in the Maker's Mark 46, the French Oaked. We're not going to finish the bottle tonight, but maybe on the after show. If you're part of the members, you're going to be watching me on the after show. We're going to be talking about anything and everything there. Anything and everything goes, and we may finish off the bottle there. But lots to discuss tonight, guys. You know, we got some fun stuff to talk about. Not a lot of big news from some companies, but big news from other companies. Developments, changes, a lot going on, a lot of moving and shaking. And, you know, maybe you wonder what impact you can possibly have in that. Well, you can have an impact right now, tonight, if you answer the poll question. That's right. Every single week we have a poll question on the This Week show. This week is no exception. Jump over the comment section, the chat right now, the live chat, and you see that we have a poll question. Here's the question. How do you view Arcade1up now? Like now. You're looking at now. You know, what happened to then? We just passed it when just now. We're talking about now. What do you think about them now? Not tomorrow, not in the future, not in the past. What do you think about them now? Like just the company, just overall. Like what's going on? Like what in your mind, how do you view them? I got 4 options for you. Consider them. Take your time. No need to answer right away, but we're going to wrap this up at the end of the actual show and talk about kind of where everybody's at. 53 votes so far. Thank you so much for jumping in there, but make sure you consider your this is very, very important. This is life altering. This is groundbreaking. It's crucial. Not really. You got 4 options. Here are your options. One is it's an exciting, growing company with a bright future. That is an option. Some people feel that way, and that's fine. The second option is good with it's a good company, right? They only have a few must-haves. Good company. Not everything is a banger, you know, but they got a few of them out there, right? Number 3, they got a nice catalog, but all the new stuff is just kind of lame. Great stuff in the past, but the new stuff, I'm just not feeling it. Or are you of the mindset that some are where you're just bored and over it all? It's boring. It's done. There's no importance or nostalgia. You're not really holding on to these at all. You're just sort of done with it. You're just going to sell everything. I've seen all of these in one form or fashion on the internet, in the groups and social media and all that, people expressing all these views. Some people are just getting started. Some people are getting done and wrapping it up. We're going to talk about that tonight later on in the show, everybody. So what's been going on with y'all? Hope you had a good week. I had a productive week. I am still waiting on a few key things before I can really wrap up the Neo Geo Big Red. I am excited. I'm getting antsy. The video came out. If you didn't see that video last week, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday, go over there and check out that exciting episode. But, you know, I want to finish up this cabinet, and I'm waiting on just a few more things. Got a lot of great stuff done on it so far. I'm making some real improvements. The good thing about waiting on some of these parts is you get to kind of nitpick, you know, some of the stuff that maybe you would have just let slide because you were trying to get it done, trying to get knocked out. So I'm not doing that. I'm waiting, and I'm getting the stuff done right. And I'm excited to share it with you because it's going to be just a killer cabinet. One of those great cabinets that I never knew how much I really wanted it. It was always on my list. But once you get it and you've got it and you're into it and you're taking it apart, you know, I'm just getting more excited about this cabinet every single day. The parts are coming in. Like I said, I can't wait to get it together and share it with you. So it's a lot of fun there. That's cool on the full-size arcade front. Some negatives, some sad things to report. I think I told you last week that I had a couple different options for fixing. Yes, Outrun 2 has already died. As soon as I get it up and going, before the video can be done, the thing died. The GD-ROM died. So I had a couple different fixes. One was a cheap, just the drive itself. I was going to just decase the drive and put the actual laser, you know, drive itself, put that inside, and then maybe that would fix it. That was a $45 fix. And then I had the super expensive fix that's coming from China. it will eventually get here. The $45 fix did not work. Didn't work at all. It really sucked. I was like, come on. It didn't do anything. So it wasn't a ton of work, but it was $50 down the drain, which is never fun. So I'm stuck waiting on the expensive option. But the great thing about that in the expensive option is I'm going to get basically the better version of the game. So it is what it is. The Mega Desk that I'm sitting at now, you can't see, has also gotten a big thing sort of checked off the list. The entire console area has now been completed. That video I'm going to put together this week and show you. It's not massive, but it did take a lot of work, a lot of doing to kind of get it exactly how I wanted it. So this whole setup here that you can't see, we'll do a video on that this week and so sort of show you this labor of love. I mean, think about the decades and years of console goodness over here. There's another half that has the New Wave toys on top, but down low, I've got to work on some of the shelving to hold all these games for all this console love. So lots of stuff going on. I am getting some stuff checked on the list, but still waiting on a few key components. I know a lot of you out there are doing the same thing. You're in the middle of projects, whether it's Arcade1up, full-size arcades, whatever, and you're waiting on those pieces to finish off this project and check it off the list. So I know you feel me. I know you're with me. Now let's make sure you're still here. Want to say hi to the first 10. The first 10 comments tonight. Coming in the number one spot is 11:51. 11:51 a.m. right before noon. This was probably one of the quickest responses. I think I posted the video at like 11:50. And Sir Sega, you are number one with a bullet, right in there, right on time. Yo Fox, happy Sunday. Thank you so much for being here. Coming in at number two is Frank D. What's going on, buddy? Drinking more bullet tonight. Also, I've got the week off, so I'll probably enjoy some rum and punch too. Well, look at you. You've got your night planned, don't you? But listen, you're not driving tomorrow? No fears? No worries, no problems. Coming in number three, the best moderator in the biz, Jason. Little Alien, what's going on, buddy? Happy Sunday. Look forward to the show and your perspective, as always. Well, it is a perspective. One worth looking forward to. That remains to be unseen. Coming in at number four is Game Broker 84. Happy Sunday, Fox. Hope you had a good week. I did. Hope you did as well, buddy. I suffered through hurricane. Oh, man, that's my parents just got, I think they just got power last night. They were out of power for like 5 days, I think. So it was rough down in Texas. So, yeah, I'm hopefully you're doing okay. But luckily, no house damage. Good. Just no power. Yeah, 5.5 days. There you go. Hopefully the Evercade I pre-ordered won't be delayed too long. Be nice, right? To get that thing when it's supposed to be here. We're going to talk about what they said about that for sure. And I'm glad you're getting through it. I'm assuming by no power and the fact that you're communicating with the device that you have some power. So hopefully that's back online and you got the AC rocking. That would be awesome. Coming in number five is David Deming. What's going on, buddy? Happy Sunday, bro. Arcade1up has a future? News to me. Well, we all have a future. Sometimes it's dim, but it is a future. Nonetheless, coming in number six is John E. Blaze. Mr. Blaze, if that is your real name. What's going on, man? Thank you so much for being here. Coming in at number seven is Dan Z. Hi, Fox. Seventh here. That's right. Number seven. You are the man. Show Gecko coming in. And number eight. Hey, Fox, looking forward to the show with a Miller Lite in hand. That's my man. Not a bad beer for sure. Shannon Zahn is swinging by in the number 9 spot. Hey, Fox, happy Sunday. Looking forward to another great show. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much. And coming in at number 10, the final spot, is Crazy Old Maurice. Hello to all. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. I'm going to get more of you involved tonight. We're going to talk about some topics. I want to get your feedback on some stuff. So rest assured, we're going to get a lot of shout outs tonight. JJ is in the house. Milkman. Love that McMahon Classic. Night Shadow is also here. Stock Jock, a Tran Fanatic, Zero Redux. JT Brunick is here. Andy's Game Room. Steve Sale, William Perilla. Yes, the Nerd Jock. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. There you go. Gallagher Guy 88. Hello. Good to see you. James mildly is annoyed by stuff in general. Nova Sonic 23. Thanks so much for being here, buddy. Appreciate you, man. Twisted Gaming, the Twisted one, Zoltar sold out because I bought 2 more. LOL. Stop with the rubbing it in the faces of the people who didn't buy it for $80. Okay? That kind of negative language is not going to be tolerated. Okay? The berating of others that did not have the foresight to take advantage of the opportunity. Okay? We will not be berated any longer. We're going to take a stand. Not taking it, buddy. We're not going to take it. No, we're not going to take it. We're not going to take it anymore. TK Magic Shop. Yo, what's up, Fox? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Arcade Dave, what's going on? Yeah, a lot of people here. MG is in the house. What's going on, buddy? MSU Rich. Peace here. How you doing, man? Good to see you, as always. Yes. Carl, oh, buddy, as always, great to see you, man. Hopefully you're doing well. We'll say hi to most of you. Like I said, we're going to talk about Wow's the third. W the third. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Michael the Gabjani. Never heard of him. Does anybody still have IC? My buddy Becky. How you doing? Good to see you, girl. Great to see you as always. And Mike Hawkhurts is also here saying hi. Soul Red. What's going on, everybody? We know. It's okay. We know. Yeah. Sorry, buddy. It is what it is. It is what it is. Wow. Well, but listen, there's some things that you need to let go of. You need to let go of. Okay, so everybody, said hi to some of you. We're going to talk a little bit more because I want to get your opinion on stuff other than just the poll question that you need to vote in. Don't forget about it. It's right over there. Yeah, it's right over there. Make sure you vote in that poll. And now let's go ahead and swing on over to the first topic. Zoltar. This little guy is in high demand. So basically, if you weren't paying attention, Zoltar, the device that was inspired by the movie Big, I guess there's no direct correlation. There's no direct tie, but it was definitely inspired by that magical, mystical, coin-operated, fortune-telling machine that transformed a child into not a child, a grown-up, a Tom Hanks of sorts. And so that was kind of a weird thing. I got to say, it came out at a time where I was really getting sort of introduced to New Wave toys. Not an early adopter, not the first one on the scene. So I was kind of figuring out what they were all about. I think at that point I might have had Dragon's Lair, maybe. I'm not sure what I had at that point, but it was definitely it's something I didn't really honestly consider seriously because I was looking at other stuff, doing other things. And almost it was here and gone, right? I think at the time I really still didn't understand the whole thing about, hey, this is like a very short window for a pre-order. You got to get it and you got to wait 2 to 3 years. It's not okay. It's maybe not that long, but you wait for it and then it shows up. And the price on this thing was like $99, but with discounts and everything, people were grabbing them. Like Twisted Chris likes to remind us all, he got his for $80. So the thing comes in and all of a sudden everybody's like, oh yeah, this thing that was supposed to come out a while ago, was delayed, finally makes its way to everybody who bought one. And people are digging it. People are really, really liking this thing. They're loving it. And I guess lo and behold, all the people that pre-ordered didn't buy them all up because there was some left over. So what they did is they said, hey, listen, go to the website right now. They're going to be available for just general consumption. Everybody can go pick one up and buy one. And then, of course, they did the right thing. They hit us with the VIP early access and gave us a 10% off of an inflated price of $150. But listen, this is what happens when you're not an early adopter. You don't jump in soon. You got to pay that higher price. But even at the lower price, depending on how you're looking at it, it's higher from the people that pre-ordered. But the lower price of $135, this was not bad. Just in time for some of those reviews coming out, a lot of people were really digging it. And it said here that, available now through Monday. Now, this is last week. This is, I can't remember what day this was. This might have been like Tuesday, Wednesday, middle of last week. They said, hey, from now until next Monday, until 5 p.m., take advantage of this coupon code and you're going to get 10% off. And it didn't even make it till Monday. It was not immediately. It was sold out within the next, I think it was by Friday. By the time Super Game Room News came on, I believe it was sold out. So that's a really huge success for something that's kind of weird, right? This is not a direct, officially licensed, boom, stamped item from the movie. There's no big branding on it, but it was something that people were interested in. It was something unique. It was something different. It was something weird. And it had, I think, some nostalgia attached to it for sure. And yeah, I'm kind of not happy that, I didn't take advantage of it. And of course, when it comes out now, it's the price is a little bit high, but then I'm seeing all the reviews. I'm thinking, well, maybe I need to buy this. But before I was able to buy one, Twisted Chris went and bought them all up. So now we got nothing. So now we're just stuck. But this is a huge win, I think, for New Wave Toys. And it gives you kind of, or I took a second. I was like, okay, well, why did this do so well? Especially when we found out little things like it's not even wood, it's made of plastic. Well, some people could say that was kind of cheap, you know? And as Michael B cleverly pointed out, there's no HDMI out. I mean, what the hell? No HDMI out? This is ridiculous. Are you gonna have spectate mode? There's no video game aspect. This is a little animatronic thing, but had some phrases and spit out these little tokens or these little cards that had fortunes on them. But for some reason, it just took off, man. I mean, people were digging it. They were into it. And it was weird. It did have a nostalgia component to it, but it was also different than what they had done before. It was something that, you know, if you're looking at having something like a shelf or a desk with limited amount of space, you want to have unique items in there that kind of stand out, to do something different. I think was a huge part of the appeal. And there was some nostalgia built in because of the loosely tied to the movie. So why doesn't everything that they make fly off the shelves? I think because not everything they make has all those components. I think of, you know, Golden Tee. And let's talk about the pricing. Now you're looking at something right now that when you pre-ordered it, this thing was like $100, let's say. You know, I know people got discounts. $100 for Zoltar, but even now, $135. Just to pre-order Golden Tee, we've been over this before. We're going to go over it again. Looking at some of these package deals, you're looking at spending $400, $223. I mean, this stuff was really, really expensive. And I don't think that it would have been a problem if it was something that maybe had some of those core components. Golden Tee is a great game, but does it have the nostalgia? Golden Tee is a great game that's fun to play, but does it have the nostalgia? Is it something that's so iconic and unique that you want to have it on your shelf? See, there's a difference here. I don't think anybody really honestly is going to debate that Golden Tee isn't a good game. I think it's a good game. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's something you want to collect and like have on your shelf. I think that that's going to be reserved for something that's way more nostalgic, way more unique, something weird, something different, something that maybe you don't necessarily want to go spend $700, $800, $1,000 and go find in the wild and restore this cabinet. It doesn't quite get you that way, but it is something that you want to kind of have represented on your shelf in your arcade. So it's got to have the it factor, for lack of a better word, something that is more than just, it was a good game. There's a lot of great games that came out on Dynamo HS5s, but the cabinet's not inspiring and the side art doesn't look really that great. And there's really nothing that jumps out about the cabinet itself. You may have had just a ton of fun playing the game, but is that something you really need to have on your shelf? You know, I'm a big Raiden fan. I mean, maybe I would buy a Raiden cabinet, but Raiden didn't have a specific iconic cabinet, you know, not a lot of crazy side art, not a lot of stuff that really makes it stand out and differentiates itself from every other arcade. Now, my God, a Tron game that maybe wasn't the most fun. I mean, if you're being honest, playing Tron in real life maybe wasn't as fun, but that cabinet was an experience by itself. That's why I think the Arcade1up version did so well. Tron, a little Tron, would sell out like instantly. Like, I mean, the pre-orders would evaporate. Well, I guess there's no limit on pre-orders. I guess that's how they gauge how many they would sell bazillions, and that's a real number of little Trons. Like everybody would buy Tron, like Tron and arcade. That just goes together, you know. Pac-Man would probably do the same, similarly, I think. But I think Tron is something a little bit more unique and special and different, iconic. Just the cabinet, the way it sits there, is just awesome. It is beautiful. It is a piece that you want to have sitting there. I'm afraid the Golden Tee just isn't quite the same, and the proof was further cemented in the pudding when they had to have kind of a last call. Like, hey, everybody, just so you know, we're doing last calls on the pre-orders for the Golden Tee, and we also got that 20% coupon on the pre-order, which is kind of weird. And it wasn't just a pre-order for one version; it was a pre-order for every single cat. Like, hey, listen, they're all those. Please, come buy these things. I don't think that this is just me speculating. I'm not sure that New Wave Toys was happy with necessarily the pre-orders for um, Golden Tee. And I think that some of this stuff is kind of obvious. You talk about a single item, it's unique, it's weird, it's just funky enough to where people are like, wow, I don't know that I would want a full-size Zoltar in my house, but that's pretty cool. And I like that. And the price point is just it's not a bad price point, even at this price point. The pre-order was even better, obviously, but this price point was not bad. And I think it was something people were worth. Like I said, it's weird, it's funky, it's different. You got it. 3 different versions of Golden Tee, I think is it's a big gamble, guys. We talked about this before, but you look at the difference now. You look at something like Zoltar that sells like gangbusters, sells out completely. It's gone. And I don't know that they're going to have the same success with Golden Tee. I don't know that the initial investment is going to be paid back. I just don't know. I think that this is probably, not going to go as well for them as maybe the risk and reward factor. What's the big licensing deal with Zoltar? Was there any at all? Was there anything? Now they had a lot of R&D, some weird, different stuff. You had a little ticket dispenser and all that. But what was the buy-in, for Zoltar versus Golden Tee? How much was that license? And then all the extra R&D they had to do, working hand in hand with Glenn to make that awesome control panel. But then also the little version with the little digital DMD. There's a lot of stuff going on there. A lot of R&D to get that thing ready to show off, right? They haven't produced them yet, but there's a lot invested just to get that thing going. For Golden Tee, a fun game, but do I really want that or need that on my shelf? I never took the plunge on either one. I'm really kicking myself about Zoltar, but I got at this point, the game has sort of changed, and then I've got several other things on pre-order I'm waiting for, and I have a very small, no pun intended, 1/6 scale arcade over here that only has room for so many things. I've got a pinball machine coming. I got the little cigarette machine coming. So I'm kind of running out of space in my little miniature arcade, which is kind of sad, I guess. So I didn't really get on it, but I don't know. I'm kicking myself. Maybe I should. But I think that there's a factor. There's something that's missing from things like Golden Tee, mass market stuff. Good game, good brand recognition. But what are you selling? Are you selling brands? Or are you selling nostalgia? Are you selling something that's odd and unique? Something that's different? It doesn't help the fact that everybody else is spitting out Golden Tees like they're going out of style. I guess they just started giving away the Golden Tee license. I have no idea. Or maybe it was just bad timing on all these companies' parts. But they have to, I think New Wave Toys has to maybe think about their early successes. This funky, weird stuff. I mean, Kubert. It doesn't seem, to arcade fanatics, arcade fans, Kubert doesn't seem like a stretch at all. I can't believe other companies haven't made it. And maybe there's some reason why, licensing, whatever. But we get to have a little version of it in our homes, on our shelves, and on our desk, and our little arcade setups, and it's cool. And it's something I definitely want because it's hard to get, it's hard to find, it's hard to attain. It's made of unattainium. It's something that's different. Golden Tee is very mass market. It's still a current game coming out now. Arcade1up has made 4 different versions so far. So I think they kind of missed the mark there, and it's sad. But I think that if they just go back to their core, go back to their roots, and realize that they're not just selling a brand name, I think they're selling something more than that. Unique, weird, nostalgia. That's just what I'm saying. What are y'all saying? Thor KC saying, for $99, I can get a life-size Zoltar Sparks booth cost. What? Listen, if you want to rock that, no one here is telling you no. But I'm going to, if it's going to be a little weird. But if I get a little golden ticket with a fortune, I'm all good. That's fine. And you can wear that with pride. Golden Tee was such a bar thing. There's something to be said about that. It's like a miniature pool table. Kind of sounds cool. Maybe New Wave Toys should look into it. But are you really going to buy that? I mean, what do you mean? It would be cool, I guess, if you had like a diorama or something, but are you really going to buy a miniature pool table? But it's a fun game to play. No self-respecting bar wouldn't have one, right? If you got enough room, you got to have a pool table. Most man caves, most basements in the United States have a pool table. It's just like a standard, a staple. But would you buy a 1/6 scale pool table? Maybe you would. I don't know, but I don't think that I would. I don't know that I need to have that sitting on
the table or something. I don't know. So maybe not everything doesn't transfer. And bar things are usually super casual arcade games that aren't super unique. They, by their nature, appeal to like a mass market as far as playability. You can walk up to it, you can play it. But like I said, is that going to be something you consider a collectible? It's just a different standard, I think, that we're talking about here. Just my personal opinion. Tramfinet says you could mod the Golden Tee and play trackball games on it. You could absolutely do that. And if that's what you're going for, some kind of set-top box, something you plug into your TV and actually play games, that's maybe a different conversation. But a little replica, I just don't know the Golden Tee is really where it's at. Tammy G says she passed. I passed on it. Not really digging it. And they did, I think they did their best as far as giving us multiple options, a super expensive premium bundle, and then you had the bargain basement, the cheaper option. I would love to see the sales numbers, the pre-order numbers on what did they actually sell. Did they get a bunch of the big ones, or did they get a bunch of the small ones, or was it all just sort of kind of meandering in the middle? I don't know. They don't have to release those numbers. It would be cool to kind of know. But if nothing else, if they could slow down for a second, just consider those numbers, maybe that'll affect what they build in the future. Dick and Dave, that's why Numbskull is kicking ass with their classic quarter arcades. TMNT is a very unique looking cabinet. I mean, it is one of those arcade legends, and it's a 4-player. Something New Wave Toys hasn't done yet. Not that they need to do that, but it is something. Chris says a Michael B. Dunk Tank replica, Moist Mike. I like it. I'm in. I kind of like a dunk tank now. I don't know why. That's, I don't know, like a ball. What I like a little ball, like a 1/6 scale ball pit. You can throw Barbie in there. I don't know. No nostalgia for Gold Tee. It's not a 70s or 80s cab. I think Stock Jock, that's kind of where I'm hitting, right? Like, if you can go on Facebook right now and you can find it, whatever it is, Golden Tee, whatever, pick a number, pick a cab, right? If you can find it right now, it's not that rare, right? It's not that, is it unique? Maybe, but it's not that hard to find. It's easily attainable. I think I'm wanting something a little bit different. Yes, a super classic 70s, 80s deep cut, kind of funky looking cabinet, I think is what I'm looking for from New Wave Toys. I may be unique and different in that, but I don't think that I am. I think a lot of people kind of feel that way. MG says, Michael B. David Blaine did 6 weeks. So, hey, Fox and chat. JR, good to see you, man. Good to see you. James mildly annoyed at certain things. Home Arcade already had 3 cabs of that same games list and then some. If they had gotten Golden Tee 4 working, would have been different. So trying to seal the Home Arcade audiences with a tough sell. I think they had an uphill battle and they gave it their all, but I just don't, at the end of the day, what are they really selling? Are you that concerned about the playability of the game on a 1/6 scale cabinet? And we go back and forth about this, and a lot of people were mad about the pinball machine not being playable, and I get it because the other games that they sell are playable. But is that really what you're selling? Because if that's the priority, you're going to get another Street Fighter like they did, where it wasn't a 2-player cabinet. It was a 1/6 scale cabinet with like 1/3 scale controls. It was kind of off to me. I saw that, and I know they're going for a lot on eBay, but I don't think they should have done that. I think they should have made a true legit 2-player cabinet with the 6-button layout for each player. I mean, do it legit, size accurate, and then include a little USB controller if you actually want to play Street Fighter on it. But I would want a accurate representation of that cabinet at that scale. I don't need oversized buttons to make it playable. For me, it's just not necessary. I'm wanting cabinets that are weird and funky and crazy and something that makes a good conversation piece. You point at something like, what's that? And somebody's like, what is that game? And you can talk about it. That's just me. I think that's where their place is. That's where their place should be. Cargo Bay says it's sized enough for NECA-sized figures to stand around. I agree. Anything 1/6 scale, like a 12-inch tall figure, fits perfect. I've got like a little army guy. I've got, Barbie's over there rocking. She's playing Cubert and not giving the army guy like the time of day. Like he's trying. He's got the sunglasses on. He's like, hey, girl, nothing. Because she's laser focused on Cubert. And maybe that's the way that it should be. That was the reaction that I got from all the girls back in the day. Jim, the Pacer fan, what's going on? Hey, everyone, just got her. Well, listen, I hope it was consensual. Okay, so that's just my 2 cents about that. I think that what they need to do is figure out what it is they're selling. I don't think it's just a big brand. I don't think it's just a big IP. I think it is something that's a little bit harder to nail down, and it's nostalgia. The thing is, they had it. Let's hope they still have it. Evercade delayed, ever late. It's not coming. Well, it's coming. It's coming later. Not now. I mean, they said it was coming now, but it's not coming now. It's coming much later. The Evercade has been delayed. What are we talking about? We're talking about the new stuff from Evercade, the stuff that some of you have a pre-order. I've got the new bundle with Laura Croft and the it's the ESVR, the EXPR, the ASLB 123 V6. I don't know. It's the handheld with the R Nostalgia Edition, and it's been delayed. Now this was supposed to come out July. I can't remember what day. I think it was the end of July. It's supposed to come out. There's been a delay. We've hit a snag, folks. Let's talk about what the snag was. Well, unfortunately, it is. It's these manufacturing delays. We'll talk about some of the things I don't like about this and how it affects everybody in just a second. Let's get on to what their statement was on their Facebook page. Actually, you go to their Facebook page and it links you to this over on their website. This is back on July 9th. They said, we have an update for you on some release date changes for some of our upcoming hardware and cartridges. And then they have a giant space between lines. I don't know why it did this. This is their statement. I just grabbed it off their website. These changes are due to an unforeseen production delay and a subsequent shipping delay in transit that has forced us to move our planned release date. The release date of the, and this is in red text, so I got to lean forward so I can see. The release date of the Evercade, the Versus R, the EXPR, the Tomb Raider collection, and then the Lamus collection will now move to August 30th, so the very end of August. We apologize for the inconvenience this may cause. Your retailer will shortly be updating the release date for any pre-orders and contacting you to confirm the change. And I did swing over to where I have mine pre-ordered, Video Games Plus. The Canadian, our friends to the north, the Canadian allies, in the fight against boredom. They're going to help you out. It is reflecting the new release date now. It is August 30th. So unfortunately, your pre-order is going to be delayed a month. And it's frustrating because you know that Arcade1up never has these problems. In fact, if you go to Arcade1up website right now, you're going to say, well, we can't check. Well, damn it. They got the ads are up. We can't check that right now. But anyway, moving on. We can't, we'll get back to them later. This is the problem with having manufacturing overseas. You have manufacturing overseas. This is what happens, and it's frustrating and it's aggravating. I don't like it, but it is what it is. So I think that when stuff like this happens, I mean, whatever the delay was, obviously it impacts the production and then it impacts the transit over to us. It's a hell of a way to go, man, because you're talking about a massive swing. Like if something hits them over there, then you got to calculate, okay, but we were calculating like a month or 3 weeks, or whatever, to get it over here to the US. So it's a hell of a thing. It's a hell of a thing. You know what else is a hell of a thing? A $2 super chat from the Stringer Films. What's going on, brother? Fight. Absolutely, buddy. Thank you so much for being here. But unfortunately, you can't stay here long. You got to go, and you're going to the pit.
Finish him. Molina wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
James, don't ruin the joke. Come on. I'm going to keep this going as long as I possibly can. Horrible. Yeah, so when you have issues like that, it definitely is going to impact the fun that you could possibly have, and it's sad. It's all very sad. But what else is going on? Let me see. Where is that? I know I just did it. Here we go. Let me just boom that. Pick that up. So it's a delay. It's no big deal. It is 1 month. The thing about pre-orders is this stuff can happen. It tends to happen from time to time. And there's other companies out there that have stuff that we're kind of waiting on. Unico specifically. I did reach out to Unico this morning to make sure that we were still on track for shipping this month. Didn't hear back from them yet. Let's hope that still is on track. Everything I'm hearing, besides the conversation this morning that didn't happen, was that they are, But, it does sort of, there's a little bit of anticipation there. And then you're excited and you're waiting for it and you're checking your email. And then this happens and it's like, it's disheartening. Takes the wind out of your sails. It's sad, but it is what it is. Let's hope that it's just a month, because I really, besides my super mega pocket, I don't have I guess an official Evercade way to play my Evercade cartridges. This is a different company. This is super hyper mega ultra awesome. Forget the name of the company. They make the Super Pocket, and it's Blaze Technologies. And it's a good way. It's a fun way to play some games, but to play some of the larger games, I would like that PSP form factor. And that's probably the reason I really dig the handheld, is because of that PSP form factor. I just like the way that feels. It's in the console looks great with that charcoal gray and a little bit of blue on there. It looks really, really awesome. So I'm excited to get my hands on this. I hope it is just a month. If it's more than that, it's really going to suck. Also, the Tomb Raider cartridge. I want to check out these new Giga cartridges. They have more space on them. What is that gameplay experience going to be like? Basically, you're running a PS1 game, which is not the hardest thing in the world to emulate, but still, putting on a cartridge, I want to know how that's going to run. So I'm excited to hear about that. Moving on to something a little more positive, I guess. The thing we used to do with other companies like Arcade1up, when we were excited about the company, is looking forward to the future. So the hardware announcements are done for the year. We know about the Evercade Alpha, which is coming out, which should be just, I think, a ton of fun. Maybe, hopefully, I don't know. I hope so. I'm counting on it. That should be a lot of fun. Something to compete. The first real direct competition with Arcade1up as far as, the countercade size. But what about the games themselves? What about some of these games you can play, the games you can actually, plug into your Evercade device or your Alpha? There's 4 more releases coming out. And they just sort of outlined them. I think this a couple days ago on their Facebook page. They said, listen, we had some fun on their Discord talking about the 2024 releases. What is remaining? What's coming out? So they gave us a little bit of a tease. One will be a big and welcome surprise. Pretty vague, but thanks. Number 2, one is going to be a much requested collection. So a much requested collection. That's interesting. Another one is probably won't be a surprise, but will go down well. Is that a spoonful of sugar? Is it a Mary Poppins card? I have no idea. And then the last one is going to be a fun wild card. So vagueness all the way around, but there are some things that you can kind of take away from this that maybe could get you really excited. And I want to actually jump over to the Facebook group because they had, speaking of a ton of fun, they had a lot of fun in the comment section trying to figure out what it was. I thought I'd run just through these a little bit and then have you comment and let me know what you think about their suggestions and maybe some suggestions that you have. JJ is saying that I'm just going here. I have the Tomb Raider Collection 1, 2, 3 collection for the Switch, and it plays very well. You can swap between original blocky graphics and upscaled graphics with the click of a button. I also have that too. It is crazy that no one has done that before now. As far as I know, switching from old graphics to current redone graphics, remastered, whatever, with a click of a switch, a push of a button, is so cool. It's such a different way to sort of pay homage to the original while still having the upgraded, refined version. And it's actually going to be a way, it has helped me in some instances where the new graphics look great, but I may actually forget, because a lot of this is memory, where I'm at or what I'm doing or what am I looking for. I can switch back to the original graphics, and sometimes that actually helps because I remember the PS1 version. I don't remember this new clean version. So it's a really, really funky, cool feature, but that is also running on a Switch, which is way more powerful than, the EXP-R. But yes, I'm excited about that. Excited about that for sure. They're doing great things with these IPs. Refreshing Tomb Raider, which is something that could have been just considered dead a long time ago, but they're finding new ways, because I know that it came out on the PSP, different versions came out on PSP, and they were basically remasters of the old game. So it was interesting to play that through the PlayStation Portable era, one of my favorite eras. So let's go ahead and jump on right now over to what they're saying over in the Facebook group, and there we go. And let's see. Let me get down. There we go. That better? Yeah, it's better. Okay. So let's talk about some of the things that they were talking about. So Commander Keen collection, that'd be fine. He seems really excited about it. Discord collection, Legacy of Kain, that would be cool. I think because of what they're doing with Tomb Raider, you're getting a lot of PS1 sort of suggestions, which I think is pretty interesting. I like the Gargoyles cartoon. I do too. That was really cool. It's kind of edgy. Oh, I see what you're saying. Brian G was up here saying, I think the Gargoyles remastered game can switch between old and new. Now, that would be, I got to check that out because that would be interesting for sure. They had some other suggestions. Now, this guy. I don't know who this guy is, but he has a really good idea, a really good suggestion. Great guy, smart guy, the smartest people, only the smartest people. He said Neo Geo titles. That would be great, wouldn't it? Is that possible? I also have reached out to Unico. I've reached out to Unico in the past, asking if they were thinking about a handheld. I didn't get a solid, firm answer that like they were coming out with one, but I think most companies they'll tell you that, hey, listen, everything's on the table because they would consider anything. So a Neo Geo handheld will be cool. Some kind of SNK specific handheld will be cool, but it would also be really nice to get like a greatest hits collection cartridge for Evercade. Is that possible? I don't know, but that would be really, really fun. Scrolling down, you got, of course, get Doom or Capcom. I don't know if Capcom is weird because of the licensing with the Super Pocket. You could get the games on the console. You could have a console that was Capcom themed, but for whatever reason, you could not get the cartridge. So I don't know. Licensing is weird. So that may not be possible. I think to get Capcom, you might have to have that included, in the actual hardware, which is kind of weird. Indie Heroes, a new game on Evercade. Yeah, the Engage collection it's crazy, but I mean, at this point, why not? I mean, it's the not so successful Engage cell phone handheld had some memorable games on it. It would be kind of cool to maybe see that live on. You could probably pick that up for dirt cheap as far as that license is concerned. And then, some more tape mode games would be really cool. TurboGrafx 16. It's a good Sega arcade card. So Sega. We know that's tough with Arcade1up getting that license, but dude, if there was anything Sega, some kind of old arcade, maybe not. I don't know that we can. The great thing about Evercade is you can talk about consoles, you can talk about arcades. I don't know that you could get any kind of I don't know, the console games may not be possible. But the arcade games, I think, are still out there in some form or fashion. The remasters are coming out by Sega, so maybe they'd be willing to give up some of the older games. Again, I mean, I'm sure Arcade1up is kind of wore out their welcome, but maybe, just maybe, Evercade could kind of jump in and do something and buy something. Maybe bring that back to life. Shredder's Revenge would be cool, but I don't know if that's going to happen. You could have the Cowabunga collection. Maybe that's the collection they're talking about. I don't know. Coming out on Evercade, that'd be pretty sick. But Shredder's Revenge, don't know that. Maybe too new. I don't know. Is that too new of a game? I don't know. I'm not sure what the specific limitations of the handheld or the versus consoles will be. Let's see, scroll down. You're talking about some crazy stuff here, like the ZX Spectrum, Super Mario and Sonic. I don't know that would happen specifically. Throwback Entertainment collections, another Neo Geo. Somebody's like, please, come on, Neo Geo or something that rhymes with Tega. Something. Ninja Turtles, TMNT. Would be cool to get that. This kind of goes back to the Cowabunga collection. Is it possible? I think could it run the games? Yes. I think that's possible. TurboGrafx 16 collection. Yes. Likely. 5 different cabs use those poor monitors. So, I have TMNT Shredder's Revenge physical on PS4. Yeah. But the Cowabunga collection, we're talking about carts. We're not talking about Arcade1up having to build a whole cabinet. So a cartridge, maybe there's an upcharge on that particular cartridge might be $30 instead of $20. Is that something people would be willing to pay for? Maybe, probably. Another Neo Geo suggestion. Doom runs on everything. That's true. An Ocean software collection would be cool. That would be interesting. Konami and Sega. A lot of people asking for Konami and Sega. Is it possible we get something? Maybe not a collection, but maybe a one-off game. Not sure. Resident Evil is something I saw several times. That would be, that's what happens when you talk about, here we go. I like this idea. I like this idea a lot. The whole Strike series, Nuclear Strike and Desert Strike and all that. You had those on PlayStation, of course. I think there were also 16-bit. I like the PlayStation ports better, though, or versions better. That would be something they could definitely do. I think they could handle that. But the Strike series was fun. I mean, I thought that was a ton of fun. It was just something that, I mean, if you're not familiar, you're basically a helicopter, you're an Apache, flying around, blowing stuff up, picking up supplies. It was a lot of fun in different areas. So that game was absolutely a lot of fun. That would be a really cool collect. Yeah, Jungle Strike, Desert Strike, Nuclear Strike. I think there were the three. There might have been a fourth one. I can't remember. But it was those. Really, really cool. Yes, all about what about those? The live action horror movies. Horror games would be really cool. Mega Drive always run out of. I know, and crash and burn. I know it sucks. That was always a problem. Running out of gas. Neo Geo Collection, Konami Collection. So I think if it was Neo Geo, I don't know that you'd get maybe a full-blown collection, maybe just a couple. Soviet Strike. There we go. Soviet Strike. There you go. Desert, urban, Soviet. Was there nuclear or no? Am I having a brain fart? I thought nuclear was one of the strikes. Maybe not. A lot of strikes out there. I know. I don't think that there's an issue with them running it. Can they get the license? Maybe. I think licensing is probably the biggest limitation to all this stuff out there. Yes. Okay. Yeah, so we got those. So yeah, the Strike series would be really cool. I think Neo Geo, Konami, or Sega, I think you're probably not looking at a collection, but maybe like a one-off. Maybe like a couple games, because maybe it's too expensive. So maybe if you had like a Neo Geo, maybe they had like a Metal Slug and then a Samurai Showdown or something like that, like individual games from the collections. I guess that could be considered a collection. Maybe just a couple games, maybe not like 4 or 5 games on it, but maybe that could open the door, or maybe just a few games in a certain series. So maybe some Metal Slugs. I have no idea. Metal Slug was great. I played Metal Slug on anything and everything. A lot of people asking for the older consoles. Castlevania would be cool. Absolutely. Wolfenstein Collection, Wolfenstein, Doom, Aliens, Star Wars. Some of the stuff they're not going to get just because the licenses are so expensive. Quake, maybe. Could they run Quake? I don't know. You could run Quake on some old PCs. PC Engine or Neo Geo, that would be an awesome big surprise. A big surprise. Neo Geo kind of feels like that could be some kind of surprise. I think Sega is almost like shooting for the stars at this point. Konami may be the same. Yeah, Sega or Midway. Midway seems like that's attainable, right? I don't know that any kind of agreement they have with Arcade1up would prevent that. But Midway seemed like there's somebody who's willing to put their games out there, at least, the stuff that's on the legacy cabinets, right? Tekken, yeah. PlayStation 1, I mean, you could do that. Dead or Alive, that could be cool. The Alpha is interesting because they have Alpha included on the Evercade, or the Alpha. Yeah. Street Fighter Alpha is on the Alpha, but that's another example of, I think Capcom says, yeah, you can include them in a piece of hardware, but we're not going to let you put it on a cartridge. Maybe they're worried about piracy. I don't know. So that's my only hesitation with Street Fighter Alpha. But Tekken, I mean, if you're talking about list your favorite PS1 games, it's possible. Atari Collection would be cool. A Virtua Fighter. Sega's the only hurdle. Sega wants so much for their properties, but a Virtua Fighter would be cool. I would love to play Virtua Fighter 1 and 2. That'd be sick. That would be fun. Remember when they used to have that online game service, the Sierra Network, later renamed the Imagination, later renamed the Imagination Network, could hang out at the bar with Larry. There you go. Primal Rage. I love that game. What if they could get the second game too? I mean, we know the arcade exists. The arcade, cabinet exists. Could we get the ROM? Battle Arena Toshinden. Oh, there we go. Nice. I like it. Good suggestions. Micro Machines collections. Strike. Okay, we got a fellow Strike collection lover right there. System 3 collection. Maybe getting a little bit too crazy here. But Phantasy Star collection, a lot of Sega love in the chat for sure. The Quadrilogy, Capcom, Sega, Arcade. Here we go. Arcade. Go for the arcade games. Once again, something that is hard to get. A lot of people don't want to emulate or try to emulate or They're uncomfortable with MAME or whatever. So this will be really cool. What else? I see anything else? Sega Model 3 is kind of a big one. Ghosts and Goblins, Ghouls and Ghosts. Neo Geo Collection. Again, Midway, Atari, Sega. I think there's a lot of arcade love in the chat. In this comment section, trying to figure out what they want, and then golf and pinball is something I think that they need to actually, pinball for real. I mean, get some pinball games for sure, because I think that you got the tape mode. You're missing a big golden opportunity. You should absolutely check into that. Any kind of tape mode game. I would make a suggestion. The FabTech games, the Raiden games. So you had Raiden 1, 2. I think 3 kind of got a little bit, maybe graphically, maybe a bit too much to emulate, but you have all the Raiden fighters. You had, what was the other one? I forget the other one, but they had a Raiden DX. So some more, shmups, to take advantage of that tape mode, something a little bit more challenging than some of the stuff we've had previously. And it's kind of a weird deep cut. It's possible you could get that. Viper, I think, is the other name of the game in the series, the Raiden series. So you could have some kind of deep cuts like that and put a collection together, and it would be something that really take advantage of that tape mode. I've got I even forgot. It's been so long ago. I think I pre-ordered the tape mode controller holder, the adapter thing. I would love to have some cool shooters that take advantage of that mode to really, really make me happy that I got the extra controller thing. But the shmups should be absolutely, yes, exactly. More shmups. Give them to me. I love them. They're awesome. It's exactly what we need. Pinball is something Blaze is looking into, but I think they still need another processor boost before they'll get their feet wet. What about something as basic as, remember pinball on the NES? Now, that's probably really old school. And I know Nintendo and all that, but I'm talking about something that basic. Just give us some rudimentary pinball love. I'm not talking about, Pinball FX. I'm not talking about, wide open stuff, but some older console pinball games that came out back in the day. That would be fun. I think that would be cool. That'd be something like, once again, think about the different ways you can take advantage of the tape mode to really, to make that more fun. And it would be not necessarily a system seller, but another reason why you would want the system and want to take advantage of that controller, the tape mode handle. So that's just my 2 cents. I'm excited about what is coming. There is more coming this year. I know it's July. So the majority of the stuff, the big stuff has already been announced, but some of these games are really cool. They could add a lot of features. And also you have to think about the new form factor too with the arcade. And I think that's why there's a lot of arcade love, a lot of arcade suggestions on their Facebook page. They have the Alpha. The Alpha is a little arcade machine. It's a countercade. It beckons, it requires more arcade games to really justify that form factor and take advantage of it completely. So that's just my 2 cents. If you're watching this on replay, let me know what you think about it in the comments section. I would love to know what you think Evercade should actually come out with. The year is only halfway over, and there's so much more to share. Let's end this with talking about the future of Arcade1up. And there is a future. We all have a future. No fate but what we make. And that's kind of where we're at. This is going to be the fireside chat portion of the show. I'm going to just talk about briefly, not so much the company. I think we all know what happens with these companies. These companies exist as long as we buy their stuff, and when they quit buying their stuff, they fail. And they either just close up the doors or they file bankruptcy. Yeah, here we go. Yeah. Their future is 7-Eleven and not the place where you get the Slurpees. These are chapters of a book no one wants to read. It's over. They're done. I'm just talking about the company. The company, like I said, they'll exist as long as people buy their stuff. Once people quit buying their stuff, they're done. So that part, it's really up to them, right? Are they going to make something people want to buy? And they could make freaking bubble gum. They can make cotton candy machines. And if people buy them, fine. God bless you. More power to you. If their future is Casino-cade and cotton candy machines, hey, there's something for everybody. The Arcade1up popcorn dispensing device. What have you done for me lately? Ooh, yeah. Dun, 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 dun. dun, dun. Oh, I'm sorry. You're talking about that's how you feel about the actual company. Yes. But what about the hobby? The Arcade1up hobby, the 3/4 scale hobby, the miniature, the pint-sized arcades that Arcade1up kind of introduced. This kind of hobby that they kind of created. What happens to that hobby? So the company does what the company does, but what about the hobby itself? Because look at real arcades. Look at that arcade. Look at that arcade. Look at all the real arcades you may have in your home. Those things came out 20 and 30 years ago, and you still have them. You're still maintaining them. And your hobby is refining that, maintaining that, and enjoying it. What happens to Arcade1up? It's not exactly the same thing. The hobby itself, the future. Let's talk about the current state. And I think you got to look at this from two different perspectives. You have the people that are here from day one, and you got the people that are just coming in. You have some people that are actually post-pandemic that are getting into this hobby, and they're looking at it from a different perspective. What I've seen online and in the groups and the chats and some of the shows and all that is that the old fuddy-duddies, I don't know, the people that have been around here for like 3 years, 4 years, we were kind of in the trenches. You were too. You were excited for new releases. You saw the potential, and then you saw unfortunately, the lack of diversity, the lack of deep cuts, the lack of those weird, freaky titles that we saw New Wave Toys doing. That we kind of wish that they would continue to do. We didn't see our game get made. We saw these other games get made, and they improved physically, but they didn't really necessarily improve the software. They didn't make, like I said, they didn't make the game you wanted or I wanted. And so we got a little bit jaded, a little bit. The prices kept going up, and we were kind of been there, done that, rebought the same cabinet a couple different times. So I think the majority of the old original fans, or maybe the first wave fans, let's say, there's not a lot to look forward to. We kind of seen this before, but there is a new group of people that are into this, and you got to consider from their perspective. Imagine coming into Arcade1up 6 months ago or a year ago. You just find out about this company. Holy crap, look at all this stuff. Look at all this catalog that they have. One of your choices. No. Geriatric flatulence. That's what we are. That's what we are. But we were kind of there, and we've seen this song and dance before, bought multiple cabinets, and we're kind of done with it. But the new people coming in, have just been in the hobby for a year. There's still some excitement. They're looking at this catalog of stuff that they didn't get to purchase the first go around, and now they're trying to find it, and it's on sale. And oh, I mean, can you imagine? I mean, I'm picking up T2 for $400. We were paying $600 for these freaking cabinets when they first came out. It's crazy. They're picking these things up for cheaper, and they know exactly what they're getting into, and they have a whole library of videos and reviews to look back on to know exactly what to do and what not to do. Some of the mistakes that were made, some of the flaws and problems. So they're coming in, they can find the cabinet, buying it for half the price we did, and there's now this giant, like I said, library of videos and commentary on the thing they just bought, which we didn't have. And there's most likely a giant third-party support network in place to fix all those problems we identified in our reviews way back when. So they're digging it. They're loving it. They're having a great time. The lack of new stuff coming out hasn't hit them yet because they likely haven't bought everything that they still want. It's still out there. They're trying to decide, riser or no riser? Do I get the XL or the other one? They have a different problem than we have. So I think there's two different thoughts. So as it sits right now, you've got some older fans, some newer fans, two different perspectives. I think that there's also a big skew, a big percentage difference between like modding and stock. Like as we move forward, maybe right now, a lot of people are preserving these cabinets. The company is still releasing new stuff, but I think the percentage right now is much lower modding to stock. I think there's a lot of people just buy them and they set them up and they dig them. They love them. And that's the way. I don't want to touch it. It's good. But as this hobby begins to age, the future of this hobby, I think we're all going to end up in that old camp, right? New and old. If they don't release anything new, the new and old fans are going to kind of just sort of become Siamese twins and join together, and we'll have roughly the same attitude. So then what's the future of these cabinets moving forward? Will it be more of a preservation type thing, or will they just all be hacked up, cut up, and modded? What's that ratio? I think it's probably, I don't know, from what I'm seeing, maybe 70-30, 70% just keeping them stocks, 30% are modding them. I think that's beginning to tilt in the future. I think it's probably going to be, it's going to be less about preserving these cabinets and more about modding them and turning them into the things that you want. I've already started down that road myself. I've pretty much sold all the original Arcade1ups. I've kept a few mostly stock. None of them are 100% stock. Well, there is one. No, none of them are 100% stock. Weird, right? But I think that there's going to be more of a, because of the fact that we know they're not going to come out with something better. They're not going to come out with the feature that we want. So I think in the future, 5 years down the road, every Arcade1up that's out there is going to be modded. Either modded slightly to get something that they wanted that Arcade1up never gave them, or completely like I'm doing, PCB swaps and making completely different cabinets, different versions of cabinets. I like these deluxes. I wish they were XLs. XLs would be my preference, but the deluxes aren't bad. I love this little dynamo. So I'm swapping guts and swapping parts and making the cabinet that I want because they just haven't made what I want. And I know they're not going to. So I'm not going to wait around. So that's where I'm at. I'm much more on the other side. All my cabinets are modded slightly to pretty severe. But in the future, I think that it's not going to be something where we preserve these cabinets the way that they were. I think the older cabinets have a lot more nostalgia and they're more worthy to be preserved. Just my opinion. And here's one key factor that's going to determine the life of this hobby. The great thing about Arcade1ups is there's very few components that make up an Arcade1up. The bad thing about Arcade1up is there's very few components that make up an Arcade1up. What does that mean? Monitors, you'll have replacements. There'll be variations. 17-inch monitors, you'll be able to find those, I think, for a very, very, very long time. The PCB will determine the life of this hobby. Because once the PCB goes, then you're just putting Pandora's boxes in there. You're just putting PCs and running MAME, and there's really nothing left that you could even call Arcade1up. But there's going to be this shell that reminds you that back in the day, there was actually this hobby. There was this company that had some passion for a smaller version of an arcade machine. And, you look back with some fondness, but unfortunately, they didn't last long enough to really provide the amount of nostalgia the real ones do. Would you look at that? Let's try that again. Would you look at that?
What the hell?
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up.
Unfortunately, once again, it is that time to go ahead and wrap it up. Members, if you're a member of this channel, you stay right here. You're going to be automatically redirected to the after show where we're going to talk about this and anything you want to talk about. No limits, no holds barred. We might even say a cuss word or two. Before we go, I got to talk about the poll question. Everybody, thank you so much for voting in the poll. The poll question was simply this: as you sit right now in your current location, in this current time, what do you view? How do you view Arcade1up right now? And go ahead and end the poll. Thank you so much for voting. 166 votes. Awesome, guys. Ending the poll. Here are the results. It's coming in any second now. Eventually. Where did the poll go? Oh, come on. And the poll is gone? What happened? Hold on, give me 1 second. Let me see if I can refresh my screen. This has never happened before. The poll question is absolutely gone. Can anybody see what happened to the poll question? Where did the poll go? Okay, here it is. Sorry, guys. Okay, so the poll question was simply this: how do you view Arcade1up right now? With coming into fourth place with 6% of the vote, as it's an exciting growing company with a bright future. Yeah, not so much. Coming in at number 3 is good with a few must-haves with 19%, and coming in with a whopping 42%. And the number 1 answer is I'm bored and over it all. Doesn't bode well. And of course, the remaining 31% had this view: nice catalog, but the new stuff is lame. So 73% of you are either bored and over it, or you're looking back at the old cabinets and you're not looking forward to anything they're putting out now. And that's a damn shame. It's a damn shame, because I think that, like we said before, these companies are selling nostalgia. They need to remember what captured the imagination and the dollars of that original customer base. And it wasn't brands, and it wasn't Slim Shady Cades. It was nostalgia. It was trying to recreate the thing that we had back in the day. You lost your eye. You didn't keep your eye on the ball. Didn't keep your eye on the prize. And unfortunately, you get what you get. Anyway, everybody, I hope you don't work too hard next week. Thank you so much for stopping by and checking out this channel. And I will see all of you right back here next time. Peace.